Welcome, another episode of Trap Talk. I'm here with Nick Chiodo from Clam Outdoors and Matt Johnson. I'm going to touch today on the mobile ice angler. Everything you need to know to be more mobile on the run and gun style of ice fishing. I'm going to touch on one-man options. Clam offers a variety of one-man fish houses to suit about every situation. Jump into some clothing options and all the different gadgetry and accessories to make your time on the ice more effective and mobile. So Nick, welcome. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
To start things off, the one-man fish house. It's not something new, but there's a lot of new characteristics and ideas behind a one-man to make your life on the ice more effective. To start things off, I'm sitting in a Scout TC. However, another option other than the Scout is going to be that Trapper. If we want to talk about mobility and staying lightweight, the Trapper is going to be very similar to what you see here, except for no seat. Trapper weighs, 20 or so pounds, very lightweight. It's something that we joke around with that you can grab one on each arm.
Right.
So, I mean, as far as loading, unloading, Trapper keeps it very, very simple and effective. You use one of the Clam folding cooler chairs, works very well inside a Trapper, so you have accessories that can be added on to keep things lightweight. So,
well, actually, the Trapper comes with this.
Okay.
It does come with this seat. The Scout TC has a folding seat, and then, of course, has the thermal caps. I mean, those are your two main differences. I mean, other than that, it's the same tub, same pull system. So really, you're cutting a bit of weight. And then, of course, for those that are price conscious as well, it's not as expensive to purchase a Trapper either. So, I mean, there's certainly a couple great options. The unique feature about the seat is, it was built with the runner kit, where the runner kit grooves in the bottom of the tub. As you notice, it's a little bit wider maybe than your normal camp chair. It actually rests in where the tub, where the runners are built in the tub or molded in the tub, so there you don't get a lot of slop or play around. And for being mobile too, I mean, if you need to get up and move around, you got a chair that you can grab and sit on. It's got a nice little cooler bag on the bottom, so just little things that make your time on the ice a little bit more enjoyable. But yeah, certainly a couple good options right there.
And this cooler chair too, it's not just, I own 5-6 of them, and I got that Command Pulse thermal too, so it's not just something you're going to use with this.
Right.
I was at a function last year at a barbecue, and I seen a couple of these where guys were sitting on them, so a lot more versatility behind a tool like this. But like Nick said, basic differences between the Trapper and that Scout TC is the thermal cap and then the built-in chair system. So very, very popular, very, very effective, very lightweight. So if you're looking to stay mobile as far as that's concerned, it's probably your go-to option.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. And for those that want to rack them on top of snowmobiles and ATVs, that tub has been very user-friendly when it comes to that. You've seen Gens and all the guys out there, yourself and everybody else, do that. So, that's one of the benefits of that tub that comes on not only the Trapper and the Scout, but the Clam Pro TC and the Jason Mitchell Pro Thermal. So,
another thing about staying mobile here is that the poles on both the Scout TC and the Trapper are not going to extend up. It's just a flip and go. So the guys that are hole hopping and running hard, chasing perch, bluegills, panfish, whatever it might be, whatever your species, it's just a flip and go. So if you're punching holes, you can pull up, flip the trap, and you're catching fish. So a lot of features goes into some of these. Obviously, there's a lot of other accessories that can be added to tubs, whether it's lighting, those sorts of things, and there's no limit to what house you use. The accessories work on all of them.
Correct.
So, there's the Trapper, there's the Scout TC, two excellent options that are lightweight. Moving on to the one Nick's sitting on the Clam Fish Trap Kenai. Kenai is a very, very popular model. In fact, I believe it's one of the more popular selling options here at Clam Outdoors. Nick, you want to explain a little bit about the Kenai?
Sure. I mean, the Kenai is another one of our one-person shelters that the poles are non-extendable. Like Matt just mentioned, it is a flip and go. Yeah, the unique thing about the Kenai is the tub. It's a little bit beefier tub. When I say that, I mean a little bit higher, a little bit deeper tub. And it's got these molded trays in here for your favorite beverage. You could even rest a combo in here. So it's very user-friendly and practical for those that have enjoyed it. A little tray here for your hemostat, your depth, maybe your depth finder if you need one, or your bait puck, whatever the case may be. It does come with a bench seat, and certainly another option for the one-person angler that wants to hop around.
So far, there you go. We got 3 options. There's a few more we're going to touch on. Those 3 are very lightweight, very effective. The common theme, the number one popular species out there is panfish on the ice, chasing bluegills and crappies. And these things cater very well to the anglers that are fishing those, but don't let them discard you if you're fishing walleyes, pike, or whatnot. So there we go. We got the Trapper, Scout TC, and the Kenai. Let's move on to a couple others. Moving on to some other options here from Clam Outdoors. When you come to a one-man fish house, like we said, we've talked about the Trapper, the Scout TC, the Kenai. Moving on to a couple larger options. You start off with the Pro TC. I happen to be sitting in a Jason Mitchell Pro Thermal, but very similar to the Pro TC as far as size goes, except for the Pro TC's only going to have a thermal cap. It's going to have a little different seat, and it's not going to come with a lot of the accessories on there. So that's one option there. I'll touch on the Jason Mitchell to give you some more of the details as far as pole systems and sled is concerned. So the Jason Mitchell Thermal, Pro Thermal, very, very comfortable fish house. It's one I happen to own myself. If you're looking for complete comfort and warmth, that full thermal technology is very tough to beat. For condensation, for just overall warmth, for retaining warmth, all those sorts of features pack into something we've been asked for years now, for that one-man fish house to have a full thermal cap, full thermal canvas, and now you have it in a one-man option here from Clam Outdoors. So other than the full thermal top and the comfort zone, you have all the features packed into the Jason Mitchell lineup of houses. You have the lights, the sled lights here, which I'll show you. You have a battery bracket allowing you to store battery power so you can plug into the light systems. You have a bait bucket that is both removable and attachable to the house to keep things very efficient if you're mobile. So like I said, you're running and gunning. We always get complaints throughout the years of minnows spilling, those sorts of things. You get to your spot in the lake and you got no minnows left or no water left in your bucket. The bait bucket system here by Clam that attaches to the fish house is very, very effective. You know, keeps things neat and clean inside the tub, and then when you're done, you can flip it out and set it outside the tub for use of fishing. So, Nick, anything else to add here with the Jason Mitchell series?
No, I mean, you know, one thing when we took a look at obviously we work with Jason on his rods, but you know, he spends a lot of time in Devil's Lake and the harsh conditions that are out in Devil's Lake. You know, with the cold and the wind in that far north, and that was one. You know, when we were asking Jason, okay, you know, what are some of the things that are important to you? And you had already mentioned it. And since he's a guide, of course, he's always thinking of clients. So, you know, comfort is huge. You know, especially if you're taking somebody out for the first time, or you know, you're fishing by yourself, or whatever. Comfort's huge, and you want to make sure you're safe too when it's 40 below. To have that little added extra comfort. Well, like you mentioned, the other thing he talked about was bait management. There's nothing worse than spilled minnows in the winter. So, you know, we've got the bait well, and actually, you know, one of the features, and this actually still has water in it. It is a spill-proof bucket, and we can show you that in a minute. But the reason it's spill-proof, it's got a rubber gasket in the lid, and so, you know, by doing that, that will not allow any of the water to spill out. You have an efficient place to put your bait. And like Matt said, you can flip it out and have it accessible, or you can flip it back in when you're moving and being mobile. So, yeah, no, there's been a lot of buzz about it. Very popular.
Yeah, I know that you're going to see a lot of people on the ice with these Jason Mitchell Pros, judging by the people I've talked to already, whether it be on forums, email, comments on Facebook. It's got a very, very positive review. So very, very good option here from Clam Outdoors.
Right, and of course we have the Clam Pro TC, which the Pro's been in the line for a long time. Same size. It does have extendable tubes, but see, we went off the Scout tub. Instead of going off the end, we went off the side, so it gives you more room from left to right. It does come with our deluxe seat, which has the slip covers on it. It does move left to right and is removable. So just a couple of options off that Pro tub or off that Pro style. So
yeah, so like the Pro and the Jason Mitchell Pro, in my opinion, are going to be excellent options for walleye guys, perch guys on big lakes, like they said on Devil's Lake. Are going to work very, very well because you have more room and ability to punch a second hole. You know, some of the narrow Scout Trapper models seem to work better with one hole. If you're going to do a two-hole setup, like Nick said, they flip the canvas, they flip the house over off the side of this Scout tub, giving you more room to fish more adequately if you're going to do a set line or something like that. So, all right, moving on from the Pro TC and the Jason Mitchell Pro Thermal, we got one more option here for a one-man house from Clam Outdoors. Nick, which one are you standing by there?
I'm standing by that Clam Kodiak. It's our largest one-person shelter. It does have non-extendable tubes, so it's another flip-and-go situation. You know, we see that, you know, obviously if you look at here in the comparison to what Matt's sitting on, there's a significant difference in size, meaning a lot higher, a lot bigger. It's got a bigger, beefier tub. And so what this is going to allow you to do is, some people like to fish with longer rods, and it might be for specific reasons, whether they're chasing lake trout, walleye, You know, there's a variety of reasons. Some people just like to use a longer rod. This has got a little bit more, it's got more fishing room, it's got more room inside, period, so hence you're going to be able to do so. And yeah, it's just a larger one person. It's our largest in our lineup. And it in certain areas is extremely popular. For certain people it's not. It's, you know, the bottom line is we have 5 one-person options. And no matter how you want to be mobile for what you're doing, what you like to do, we've got some options.
Like Nick said, if you need it or you want it or you dream it, basically you start from option 1 to option 5 and you cover all the spectrums in between. The Kodiak, a big one for me, is one of the most negative complaints I've heard in recent years or just years past about one-man fish houses in general is my rod hits the canvas. You know, I have to use a short rod. What kind of house do you have? I have a one-man, so I better only fish with a 24, 28-inch rod. Like Nick said, now with the Kodiak, those lake trout fishermen, I know a lot of personal friends who fish lake trout, and they run Kodiaks because you can fish 42-inch rods inside a Kodiak fish house. And like Nick said, not extending the poles, you're still running and gunning for predator fish. So if you like to fish walleyes, pike, lake trout, bigger fish with longer rods with more power, that Kodiak is probably going to be more on the line of what you want to look at. Very, very effective, same durable tub, pole system, awesome seat setup, the ice armor canvas as far as the whole thing goes. You're going to get those features along the board here. So a lot of excellent one-man options here from Clam Outdoors. Like I said, any other questions, you know you can contact Clam on their Facebook page. You can go to iceteam.com forums to get some more feedback. Talk to anybody else in your local retailers to get some ideas or to take a look at some of these houses. So there's your one-man lineup from Clam Outdoors. Let's take things. Moving on with the topic of mobility on ice. You've seen some of the one-man fish house options from Clam Outdoors. You've got everything, like we said, from the Trapper up to the totally tricked out Jason Mitchell Pro Thermal. So the one-man fish house is covered as far as a flip-over type shelter. Moving on to something else mobility-wise is the Strikemaster Glide Light. This happens to be my personal glide light. As you can see, I got it pretty tricked out with a lot of bells and whistles. Added a compartment here for storing gear. I got my Vexler FL22 mounted onto the front of this bad boy so I can hole hop and run and gun very effectively. Bucket, you got rod holders in the back of this for holding all your rods and gear and those sorts of things. Very, very effective, very, very efficient. This thing is very lightweight. I, in fact, was on the ice today running around with one of my good buddies, Matt Rebar, chasing down crappies on a metro area lake. And this sorts of tools, this sorts of gear allows you to very effectively cover a lot of water without carrying a ton of gear. Happened to be 38, 40 degrees on the ice today. I didn't need to be inside the comfort of a flip-over fish house. I just needed something to get my gear out there. So I had this glide light from Strikemaster piled full of gloves, ice scoops. I mean, you name it, it all fits inside this glide light. You know, I got a pretty long ice scoop in here. It slides in there nice and neat, tucks away so I can hole hop. I got my different types of jig boxes, all those sorts of things to keep things nice and neat. I got a battery built in the side of this. So the cool thing about this is the modern age is to trick out your fish house. You know, modify your portable fish house. We've done topics on that. You know, trick your trap. We've done different events on that. So now you can also trick out this glide light here. So a lot of guys are buying these things and modifying them like I did here myself. So the glide light from Strikemaster, another key essential part to being mobile on the ice. Something I definitely recommend you picking up for early and late ice if you're running around. Very, very, very effective. Another cool tool from Strikemaster that's new for this year. If you're going to talk about mobility and keeping things lightweight and portable this time of year, especially on early ice, is that new synthetic hand auger from Strikemaster. That's a new synthetic here. This is the 6-inch. It's got that composite shaft, very lightweight, composite built head here with the laser blades, the laser hand auger blades that cut through ice like butter, all built into one punch here. This is a 5-pound hand auger. Yep, I said 5 pounds. This whole entire hand auger in my hand is 5 pounds. Running around the ice with this today, punching holes. It cuts through holes very, very quickly. Like I said, I had my buddy try this as well. He couldn't believe it. He's got a standard laser. Cuts just as fast as your standard laser, except for he realized pretty quickly after you cut 15 holes in a row how much lighter this one is and how much less strain it is on your body. So when you're talking about mobility, these are a few other items from Strikemaster to get yourself on the ice and to stay active. Like I said, you got your glide light here. You got your synthetic hand auger, 2 excellent options from Strikemaster to keep things mobile on the ice. Let's go back and take a look at some of the clothing options from Clam Outdoors and Ice Armor to get you on the ice and stay mobile this winter. And over, taking things to the next level. If you're not going to be out there in a fish house, you have clothing options and accessories to keep you comfortable and warm. To start things off, some mobility, keeping some of those accessories nice and neat and organized. Organization as far as mobility is concerned is huge. mobility doesn't go as far as just transportation or ease of use. It goes as far as, to me, as organizing. The more organized you are, the more mobile you are. You're not running around looking for things and ways to keep things organized. Jig boxes. Clam Outdoors offers an entire line of jig boxes ranging in 3 different sizes. You have your small, medium, and large jig boxes. I mean, you can fit basically anything you want as far as tackle is concerned, whether it's a sized 16 jig all the way up to your larger salmon chubby darters and those sorts of things will fit in any one of these 3 variations. And one of the coolest things about these boxes, as you can see, all 3 are in my hand. I'm not carrying a box or a bucket like this. I can fit each one of these things inside one of the pouches or pockets of my ice armor suit, or in your back pocket. You know, I've seen a lot of guys that they run out there, they have one in their front pocket, their back pocket, they're pulling these jig boxes out of all different areas. So the jig box is very, very effective, very, very neat, keep things organized. And the cool thing about the medium and large is that the case is clear. So you can see exactly what's inside this jig box by just looking at it. So, Nick, jig boxes, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, you know, I mean, one of the neat features too, it does have a silicone tubing, if you will, or piping, and that makes it waterproof. So, I mean, let's face it, the jigs aren't cheap, even though we're talking about something small.
Right.
I mean, a guy buys a lot of them.
Yeah.
And so, you know, just another little thing that's going to help you protect your arsenal of tackle. And like Matt said, I mean, stuff fits in your pocket. I mean, I think I own a half a dozen of these, and geez, I got everything I need right there. It's simple, it's easy. I know what I got in each of the boxes. You know, even the small one, even though it's not clear, I just take a marker on the outside. I might write in, you know, Gensworms or, you know, Fat Boys or whatever the case may be, whatever I have. I mean, and so then I'm organized. And really, like you said, when you're organized, you're able to be efficient. Efficiency means the ability to be mobile in this situation with ice fishing.
Yep. So like Nick said, you know, organizations, you know, keep things simple, keep things neat, keep things effective. You know, tackle management. I mean, it's a common term used in open water bass fishing, muskie fishing, walleye fishing, out in your boat. Tackle management is a very common term. You know, we have the ability to manage our tackle on the ice now too. So 3 different options here from Clam Outdoors to keep your jig safe and sound. Those jig boxes, very, very neat and effective. Sticking with the theme of mobility, you know, we showed you the one-man fish houses. Everyone knows they come with a little rope. You attach your rope to your sled, you pull it out by hand. Great. That works for most people. For me, I'm taking that sled pulling harness and I attach it to my fish trap. I've used this in things as small as Scouts up to Jason Mitchell Pro or Thermal X fish houses, the heaviest 2-man fish houses you can come up with. And I put it around my back, strap it up much like a backpack, carabiner harness, and you go. Any non-believers out there, I challenge you to try one of these. At first, you always say, well, you know, they're great for 1 man, but I'm not going to put it on a 2-man. I'll tell you what, I do a lot of early ice fishing this time of year where the ice is thin and you're not taking wheelers and snowmobiles out. Guess what? You're pulling out by hand. And having a system like this, it drastically takes away the amount of effort and strain you put on your body to get that house from point A to point B. You strap it on, your hands free, you're using all of your body mechanics to drive that fish house to where you want it to go. If you're holding the fish house with one hand, you lose basically a huge portion of your upper body in strength and power to drag that system. So the sled pulling harness, one of the more popular options I think from Clam when you're talking about mobility on ice, it can be attached to any one of the fish houses. Very, very effective, and it's a great tool to have. I mean, worst case scenario, you might use it 15, 20 times in the year, but if you don't have it, I'll tell you what, I was out fishing one day last year. Again, my full thermal flip over house, full of gear. I don't know how much it weighed. You got Auger, Vexilars, all the different gear. Thank goodness I had this because it would have been a long haul dragging a house like that a quarter of a mile through the snow.
Oh, so, no doubt. I mean, and you know, we also suggest you put some PVC tubing. It doesn't come with it, but we suggest you do that, and that's kind of for the situation if you're going even down a slight hill, if it's real icy, whatever the case may be, so the shelter doesn't ride up on the back of your legs. You know, and you know, to Matt's point too, I mean, one of the other things that you know you could purchase is a set of cross-country poles, and that'll even give you more leverage. But like Matt said, I mean, with the sled pulling harness, it's a 2-point system. We do have instructions in here on what to use as far as attaching it to your shelter, and really it's just another accessory that's just going to make your life easier. I mean, I'm sure everybody at some point in time has pulled a sled out, swore a couple times, got real mad, and said, I'm never
Joints
doing,
start to hurt,
I'm never doing
bone
this
roll.
again, type of thing. So just another thing that's going to make your life a little easier.
And it's amazingly comfortable. Most of the makeshifts in the last few years that guys have made out of broken backpacks or whatever, you probably used one before this came out. They're not comfortable. I mean, you have burn marks on your shoulders. This is actually very comfortable. I'm completely honest. It's got padded shoulder straps and all the things that you ask for to be comfortable when you're pulling out as well. So, moving on to just a couple other accessories here for mobile, for being efficient. The pocket light systems. This one happens to be just a small pocket light, as you can see. Fits in the palm of my hand, very small, very bright. It's got two different options for looking inside your trap, and it's got a brighter option for, as you can see, if I hit the camera just right, it darn near blinds you. So I've seen a lot of anglers fish these above inside the pole system, looking down, looking for stuff. It's safety precaution. You're leaving the ice this time of year, after dark. You want to be able to see kind of where you're walking. Something like this will help you. It's in your pocket. You oftentimes forget it's even in there. And then all of a sudden when you need it, it's there because it's efficient, it's small, it's lightweight, runs a long time on a few batteries. So very, very efficient here as far as lighting systems. Like I said, I've talked about this before in some of my seminars, is that 5 years ago, tools like this, you either had to build yourself or you had to stop at a Menards or a Lowe's and try and track something down for $15, $20, $30. They're a fraction of the price and they're accessible in any location usually that sells ice fishing products. So we're very spoiled as ice anglers to have some of these tools to be very effective and efficient on the ice.
Correct. I mean, I think you pretty much hit it on the head. It's called pocket light for a reason. It fits in your pocket. It's always there. Like you said, you may not even remember that it's there, but it's another lighting source for low light conditions, like you mentioned, and really just some added extra light. Even if you have a larger light, you run a larger light, you sell this as a backup or extra light, and for the cost of $6-7, and runs forever. It's LED light, so it's super efficient when it comes to that. It's a no-brainer, and really for those looking for a stocking stuffer for your ice angling in your family, you can't go wrong, and it'll fit in your stocking.
Exactly. So like I said, mobility. Not carrying a lantern. You're carrying LED light systems in your pocket. Again, we're stressing mobility here, being effective on the ice. And the more hands-free you have, the easier life is. So, we touched just the tip of the iceberg as far as the accessories that Clam Outdoors offers. I mean, there's a huge lineup. ClamOutdoors.com will give you an option to check the different areas of Clam Outdoors products to see all these accessories and read more up on them. So, moving on to what I would say is the most mobile ice fishing house on the market is probably going to be the clothing you put on your body. The ice armor suits are going to be basically your mobile fish houses. I think Dave Genst coined that term pretty well. It's your mobile fish house on your body. So ice armor offers two major options to men. They offer another option for women and children that's going to be very, very effective. So starting things off, the tried and true blue-black Clam ice armor suit. Probably one of the most prevalent suits you're going to see on the ice. There's no secret that a lot of the ice anglers out there, a lot of the ice fishing sites are blanketed in blue. A lot of them have these suits. It basically led the armada of suits in the modern day ice angler. This was the first one that came out back when they started to critique and tweak suits specifically for ice anglers. So they made some different changes over the last years, that's for sure. You got a waterproof, windproof shell, very, very comfortable, padded knees, enough pockets to store a lot of things that you could forget about for years. So the functionality in these suits is very, very effective. The nice thing about these suits, like I said, is it keeps the elements away from you. A lot of us flip over our traps to stay warm and dry and comfortable outside the elements. This is basically a fish trap on your body. So if you're going to run and gun and hole hop with the essence of mobility, you have a fish house built onto your body itself.
Yeah, I mean, like Matt said, I mean, you can go out to most of the lakes and you're going to see blue and you're going to see your gray suit. I mean, the blue is the original. And really that kind of was the catalyst for the whole ice armor line of products. I mean, there's much more to this than suits. We have hats, gloves, boots, socks, base layer, because it's all a system.
Right.
And, you got to start from the skin out, really. You start with the base layer. You don't wear cotton. I say it all the time, and people still do. Don't wear cotton. It's the worst thing you possibly do, even on your feet. These garments and the outerwear, the gloves, the boots, they're built with that in mind. If you wear cotton, you're taking some of the capabilities away of these suits. If Matt or I were to wear cotton, put one of these suits on, go run around outside today because it's 7 degrees out, and then sit there for a while, we're going to get cold. It's not because the suit's not doing its job, it's because the cotton, it retains the moisture, it keeps it on your skin, you become cold and clammy when you start to come down. So really, you know, that's just, you know, the stuff, you know, you're going to spend good money for it, but it's worth it. So why not maximize it? So, I mean, really the differences between the two, one is insulated and one is not insulated. And really that's it. I mean, they've got all the same features, all the same pockets, padded knees, padded rear end. You know, I know for me, if I'm truly want to go out and find fish and I feel like I want to do it that day, because it is work. I mean, mobile fishing is work. Right. But the success is the payoff. I usually got my gray or blue suit on. I mean, you know, depending on when you get cold, will determine whether you need to purchase either one. It's kind of a personal choice. But certainly a couple of things that if you're truly going to be mobile, you know, if you don't want to buy a shelter, you can invest in an ice armor suit to be there too. So
another point with the blue suit is that it gives you a little more versatility. Spring walleyes. I wear my blue suit on opener. I was fishing in the boat just a few weeks ago. I wear a blue suit on the boat.
Right,
I mean, exactly. It gives you some versatility if you're looking for, I don't want to say year-round suit, because in the summer it's going to be a little too warm. But like Nick just said, it's a 3-season suit. It really is. It's very comfortable. That's another thing. It's comfortable. You're moving around. Some of the suits out there are big and bulky and heavy and cumbersome. You know, trying to keep with the whole theme of mobility, you know, from your feet on up, like Nick said, is comfort. Is the ability to physically move, and suits like these give you that option. So, you know, again, I really appreciate Nick coming out and talking about this sort of stuff. We threw a lot at you in a short period of time. Like I said, everything from fish houses to accessories to clothing options on your back. You can see behind us, even taking things one step further, we have, you know, an Arctic Cat Bearcat snowmobile. Right. So you have the ability to take a tow bar and attach it to any one of these houses if you want to take mobility to the extreme levels. So sky's the limit. There's a lot of things you can do out there. If you have questions, as you know, Clam Outdoors is always willing to give you some feedback and help you with any problems or the questions that you have. clamoutdoors.com is the website you go to. Check them out on Facebook. Clam and Ice Team have Facebook pages. You can check both of those out. You got guys on there that are excited about ice fishing, answering questions, giving feedback, and showing some insight, looking at some cool pictures. So, hey guys, it's here. It's time to ice fish. Have some fun. Hopefully you use some of these ideas and concepts to better equip yourself so when you hit the ice, you are more mobile. Nick, anything else to add before?
No, just early ice, be safe. We're going to have ice, and the fish are still going to be there. Right. So, certainly don't want you to press the limits. Even though these are lightweight, you still got to be careful, especially if you're going to try and tackle some of the bigger lakes right now. So, be safe, have fun, and we've got a lot of season here.
Awesome. So, Matt Johnson, Nick Chiodo here. We're here with Trap Talk, Clam Outdoors. We appreciate you for watching. Send us your pictures. We want to see your pictures. I just gave you some other Facebook options to show off your pictures to a large audience. So otherwise, we'll catch you next week, and thanks for watching.